Thanks, Dana.
I have a listing appointment tomorrow and one on Saturday. So that's kind of exciting.
Yay, awesome. And the one you're co-hosting, it sounds like she's going to let you do the command part of it. So let me know if you need any help with that because that'll be really practice.
Yep. I think we're going to do all through my name and then have it be like a referral for her side.
Awesome.
Okay, perfect.
Alexander?
Hey, how's it going today? Yeah, working again some open houses scheduled and talking to a few clients and getting marketing materials set up.
Good, great. How's it going, Joe?
Good. I'm still sort of on the tail end of this onboarding process, I think, and hopefully getting set up with the MLS today or Wednesday. And otherwise, I've reached out to a couple of my clients. I was a contractor, so I've reached out to two of my clients, and that's as much as I was willing to do. So to start out, but I did, I ordered business cards and a name tag and made sure my website, if someone, went to it, there was something there, all of that stuff. I'm in the middle of all that still. So
excellent. Lori, how are you? Oh, she's at work. Perfect. Nice. That's great. 50% conversion. That's not a bad open house, even though it might have felt a little slow. Okay, perfect. And then Emily, welcome on. I think this is your first live class, right?
This is my first live class today.
Awesome. So you might have heard me talk about it on like the intro that you recorded, but we just do like a little, or that you watched the recording of, but we just do a little accountability check-in at the beginning of every class, never to feel like embarrassed or shamed, but we like to just kind of know where you're at and if you need help with anything. Anything you want to share? I don't want to put you on the spot.
So far, I've gotten my bio done, my website set up. I've launched my social media business pages. I'm going to try to get MLS all set up this week. And then just really getting my business card done. I'm just still in the very, very beginning stages of everything.
Great. You're not alone. So that's awesome. We just kind of throw you into the pond. All right. And Catherine, do you want to share as well? No. Okay. All right. I'm going to turn the little ding dong sound on in case we do have any. Are you getting on, Ray? Okay. I know Ray's getting on. And he just had a dual side transaction close last week. So that's wonderful. All right, so today we have Dana, and Dana, I don't find her bio. Here he is. Okay, well, that's fun. Hold on one second.
Got a couple more entering the room.
Oh, yeah. Ray entered. Who else came in?
Xenia.
Oh, Xenia. Perfect. Hi, Xenia. How's your business going?
Oh, it's going. I don't know how it's going. It's hard to know because I get all these people that, they tell you they want to buy and you send them all this stuff and then it's like, well, I've decided to maybe look at this property over here instead of buying a house now. And you're like going,
To rent?
Well, no, they want to thinking about building and stuff. And so.
Well, you could definitely help them buy land if they wanted to do that, but I would definitely have them talk to a lender because sometimes people don't realize how hard it is to build.
Yeah, and they want to buy from a private friend, so it's like, oh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's hard.
They need a realtor whether they think they do or not.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so today we have Dana Burke, and for individuals and families looking for expert advice and leadership with their real estate investments, Dana and Alan Burke bring a wealth of experience. Their many years of combined know-how has earned them a reputation of being excellent communicators, tough negotiators, and innovative marketers. Dana brings over 40 years of contract negotiation and project management experience to the team. Both her parents were in real estate, as well as several of her aunts and uncles. Dana gleaned vast knowledge from one of her uncles who has been a real estate developer and excellent marketer in the Willamette Valley. Dana has a Bachelor of Science degree in Industrial Engineering, is a certified residential specialist, graduate Realtor Institute, senior real estate specialist, and certified real estate planner. She is also a fifth-generation Oregonian. Alan has over 33 years of contractor experience and over 20 years of real estate experience. And then Jameson, who is also on their team, has been a lender, director of escrow operations, and realtor in Las Vegas, Utah, and now Salem. Our team has over 75 years in real estate and specializes in the latest technologies, including video tours, virtual tours, social media, and current selling strategies. We have a transaction coordinator, and it says Tori licensed agents. I think you meant 3 licensed agents. Available in the office for buyer and seller needs. The purpose of their business is for you to be so outrageously happy with the help they provide that you'll gladly introduce us to at least 2 people you really care about. Not because we ask you to, but because you truly believe those people will benefit from their help. As leaders of the team, we focus on continuing education to keep abreast of market trends and changing legalities, deepening client relationships through consistent communications and world-class service, discovering and developing new innovative ways of internet marketing, community involvement, staying abreast of new technology, and much more. So, as you can tell, you guys are in wonderful hands today. Make sure you have your cameras on if you can. Ask as many questions as you'd like and engage so you can get as much as you'd want.
Right, I'll get the presentation up. Here we go.
Awesome.
So you guys all have leads now, right? Because you've been doing all your marketing and meeting people. This is a belly-to-belly business, so you know you have some internet leads, you have some leads for oops, for from your open houses. So how are you guys staying in contact with them?
Calling, mostly I've been calling, a little bit of texting.
And how consistently?
At least once a week, if not more.
Okay. I put everybody into my lead follow-up system, which you can do with Command. I just happen to be using a different software that has been in business a lot longer than Command, and I haven't moved it there. And it automatically sends them messages every week. One of my favorite ones, and it's usually about the 5th or 6th question that it sends, is why are you thinking about moving to wherever you guys are working? So why are you thinking about moving to Salem? What's important to you about moving to Salem? And that'll usually get a little bit of interaction off it. If it's earlier in the drip system, it doesn't get much. So it's got to be like the 5th or 6th touch. But if you can add that to you guys' touches, that's one of the better ones for me. But I was telling Jameson that I was teaching this class, and he came across a quote, and he said, prospecting without follow-up is like prospecting with a bucket full of holes. So if you can imagine all the leads going away because you're not following up, that's what that's all about. So you guys have done real estate expert and lead generation, and we're just starting into lead follow-up right now. And then transaction will be next. Or I got to catch all my screens up.
Okay.
And that was Siri answering. So when you follow up with leads, how do we define a lead?
Contact with the person, face to face.
Is that the only way?
Oh, no, you can do it through phone calls, but
Okay. You know, if you go to an open house and you get people to sign in and they say they don't have a realtor, I try to just go over with them, a little bit about the house, and then I try to follow up with them later because I don't want to be super pushy. And I invite them to my home buyer class. I have a lot of different classes, and the home buyer class is a real easy way to just link them in because you're not asking them to sign up for email drips and a search. You're asking them to come to a class where they can get information, and I teach it with a lender. So that would be a really good way for you guys to follow up with people. It's not hard to start a class. Just grab one of the lenders that we have with what's Chris with? Envoy Mortgage. And they'll be happy to work with you and do something like that. So I do it with Chris he's in the office next door, so makes it pretty easy. I'm looking forward to us moving because we'll be on the main street where everybody drives by, so we can just put it out front. But another way is to make sure you call them immediately when you're done with the open house. Call them that evening or call them the next morning because it's still fresh in their mind that they just met you. And make sure that you put them into your computer, into your contacts in Command, and you start following up with them on a regular basis. And when someone first if they hit my website and they give me all their information, it's speed to lead. So if you have somebody that hits your website and comes in, as soon as you get that email or text notice that you have it, you need to follow up immediately. Otherwise, you'll lose them right away. Are you putting in everybody you know in your databases as well?
no, I haven't gotten it finished yet. I haven't got them all in yet. I put one in this morning. I've been trying to do 1 or 2 or 3 a day.
So yeah, you guys should plan on doing that because you need to start dripping on them as all the people that you know. Everybody you know needs to know that you're in real estate now that you're in real estate. And so when you start dripping on them, it's just like following up with another client. You're going to drip on them about what's going on in the real estate market. A really good follow-up video every month when the market statistics come out is this is what's happened in our market in the last 30 days. And it just becomes one of the things that you follow up with them on. I implemented one thing at a time, and that's what we need to do every day is just implement one more little good idea into your business. So the life of a lead, people move and then it's 7 to 10 years before they move. But in the bottom of this little trough here, they're starting to think about it and they start usually online. They don't start visiting homes until they're thinking about putting their house on the market, but they don't really think about it that way. They think about it like, I just want to see what the homes around me are like. What do they look like? How are they staged? What do I need to do to my house to make it look more updated? And when they start coming to open houses, they're usually about halfway up this hill on the second hill. And it's really important to make sure that you stay in contact with the people that you know, because if they've been in their house more than 7 to 10 years, they're probably looking to make a move, whether they think they are or not. Something in their life is going to change. be it kids going off to college, it's graduation season. So pay attention to that, because they may now have a house that's going to be too big and they aren't going to need that. Or maybe they want to stay there 3 or 4 more years while the kids are going through college, and then they're going to move. So stay in front of that. But a lead that raises their hand, they're going to want to do something. Most of the time they'll tell you 1 to 2 years, and it's probably 6 to 7 months. So just know that in the back of your mind, and keep on top of that with a lead follow-up system so that you're calling them consistently. Do y'all know what the DTD2 lead follow-up system is? Where you do 2 letters a week. I use it on last names, and you call everybody in your database every week. You're calling those 2 letters. So in 13 weeks, you've called everybody in your database each quarter.
Can I ask you a question? Can you accidentally delete the people in your sphere?
Well, you have to confirm a delete, so you'd have to hit it
Okay.
twice.
Okay.
In my database, I have a double delete too. So I do delete people if they move out of the area.
Mm-hmm.
But I've had 3 or 4 reach out and they're moving back. So, but regular marketing to them doesn't make sense when they're in another state to me.
Right.
But I usually keep most of my people in my database because I like them. Most of the people I've worked with now are repeat and referred, and some of them I'm working on their kids now. So it's important to keep them in your database, if for nothing else, to thank them if somebody in there that they referred to you refers you somebody, I like to go backwards up the lead chain and thank them. It's just a reminder that, hey, I'm still in business. So this business has high turnover in new agents. Keller Williams does a better job of training than a lot of places, but 95% of the people that just got their license won't be in real estate in 2 years. And so people, you have to keep in contact with them so they know you're still in business.
Can you show me how you look up all your people in your sphere?
Well, I have to get out of the presentation to do that. So let's do it
yeah,
at the
no.
end.
Okay, thank you.
But mine are there's 800 people in my database plus. So some of them are Jameson's, some of them are Allen's, some of them are mine. Some of them are just my neighborhood that I market to. So everybody's in the database. So when someone raises their hand and you've got them in your database, you have to follow up right away. And you have to also determine, are they a longer term nurture? Are they looking a year or 2 out? Or are they looking 6 months or less out? And I have different amounts of time that I talk to them more frequently if they want to start looking now. So if you made them at an open house, that's one that's probably already looking. And if they aren't with an agent, you want to get them under contract so that you're helping them instead of someone else. If you aren't first or second in their mind, you're probably not going to get their business. So it's really important that you stay in contact and front and center. Friend them on Facebook. So just doing the basic minimum with leads, 19 touches to connect. So a quarterly phone call is 4 touches, a monthly email. So I do a postcard, an email, they're all different things, and a newsletter every single month, plus we do the quarterly calls. We also send them their birthday cards, and I don't do any of these things. The market report I usually do via video. And then we have a couple different things we invite them to. Right now we're doing a Pups and Pinot at one of the wineries locally, which is going to be kind of fun. It's on the 27th. Gives me a reason to have to call my clients besides just telling them I'm in real estate. And a high value touch, I like to try and meet with them. I mean, we do an annual review with them in January. Right now we have the Summer Love campaign that just went out. So that's a call, a touch, and a bunch of information and some valuable touch points for them. So like what sort of things should they be doing to their home over the next couple of months? And we do about 40 plus touches each year. So when we're calling for an event, we're going to call through the list. But also we go and call through the people that didn't show up that said they were coming. So, you know, did something happen? Are they okay? Do they need some help with something? You know, just try to be very helpful for them. So are all these touch point systems are set up in command. So all you have to do when you put someone in is add them to it, and it should give you a task to call them. Have any of you tried doing that?
I've tried to figure out the commands that I downloaded them, but then most of them say that it needs like 5 contacts or something before it can do anything. So that's why I'm a little bit confused by it.
So the steps aren't 5 steps, or you need 5 contacts in the database.
No, it says that it needs for me to make 5 contacts before it can do its whatever it does.
I'll have to look at that.
I think command's referring to the amount of information you have per contact. You have to fulfill at least 5 contacts on command with 50% more of their information for them to be targeted as smart plans.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I require the email, phone number, address, name before I'll even count it as a contact for my client, my team. You gotta have most of the data already.
Yeah, and if you can only get the phone number, talk to your KW leadership and see if they have FOREWARN available. Here at Eugene and Springfield, we have FOREWARN available. I use True People Search as another backup, but you can verify and cross-reference phone number, email,
Well,
property
and
address.
FOREWARN also is free if you're in Willamette Valley MLS.
That's
So you
awesome.
don't
That's
even
really
have
cool.
to pay for it. I'd switch my subscription to there.
Yeah.
Free's good.
The FOREWARN is the name of that.
FOREWARN, I actually like Ben Verified better. You get a little better results out of it than I do FOREWARN.
True
But
People Search is the other one that's also free. That one I would say it's 85% accurate.
so I had a couple people hit my website over the weekend wanting information, and 2 of them are probates. So that's always a good lead. They need to sell the house. So considerations for your own lead follow-up program, or what are my strengths when working with people? How can I adapt the 19 touches to connect 19 to connect to represent me? So, you know, the quarterly call to touch base, have the data for the market snapshot that just happened available. I can send it out. I always download it and I can send it right out to them. I put all mine in year, month, day format, so they're all in chronological order. So when I'm going through my database, I can just pull that up real fast and it's in sequential order, and I just need to look for the last one. What are some reasons I might have for contacting lead? If you have people in your database as friends in Facebook, and you touch base with Facebook periodically, and you see my son just got his driver's license, you might want to call him up and ask him if they have Life 360 on their kids' phones, so that if something happens, it will contact them. So it's just a reason to call them. You know, all you're looking for is a reason to call. Are you guys all time blocking your time so that you're making sure you follow up after lead gen time?
I have not been very good at it lately.
Well, if it's not on my calendar, it doesn't exist, and follow-up's got to be on my calendar. Because I'm not going to show up for something that's not on my calendar. But I like calling at noon when people are usually not at work, and at the end of the day is my favorite time to do lead follow-up. And we're pretty strong at doing that. I talk to 2 or 3 people while I'm driving home every night. How much time should it take to reach out to a lead? Half of them aren't going to answer, but as long as you leave a message, they should call back, especially if they really want to buy a house. You know, it doesn't take long to dial 10 leads. And when you're following up, make sure you're following up with some valuable information for them, such as, you know, it's time to mulch all your flower beds so that everything grows well and looks good for the summer, so you don't have to do it the whole rest of the year. So I belong to by referral only, and they count contacts a little differently. It's a call, text, and a conversation, and in handwritten note. So if I reach out with a text to see if people are available, and then I call, and then I follow up with a text thanking them for the call, and then I follow up with a handwritten note. We don't get much mail these days that's not a bill. So it's a really good way to stay top of mind. But you have 12 emails, one's a birthday card, 4 market reports. You could do 12 market reports if you wanted to, 4 informative videos, 2 informative emails, and a neighborhood newsletter, and then a promotional direct mail, local sports team schedule, an annual calendar. I don't do any of those kind, but we do events. We do an Easter egg hunt. We have over 100 families come to that every year, and it's a lot of fun. But the calls, texts, and emails are all pretty free. And doing a market report, even if you mailed it out, if you send it out to 300 people, it's not that expensive to do once a year. What I find is people also want to know you, like you, and trust you. So when you're posting on Facebook, post about things that you do and the life you lead, and offer value. Not everything you post out there should be about real estate. Some of it can just be about, I went to this flower garden today. When I take my mom places, she's got dementia, and I post it on Facebook, I get tons of responses off those. every single time. If you've got kids and you take them to a park to do something fun, take a picture, snap it, put it on your Facebook. And then the value propositions, you know, you need to practice market analysis. Offer them a free home valuation so it's free. You're just doing a market analysis. You need to practice anyway. Personal communications and then statistics and data would be the market analysis. Any questions on that?
I think the last slide, I took a picture of it, was really helpful because you're kind of giving, it's good ideas of what you should be reaching out to them about, which isn't, like you have said, and I think other people have said it too, it's not just about real estate all the time. So these are, to me, these are personal things that you can send out to keep them just connected to you.
Yeah. Have you heard of a Ford call?
Yes.
Family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. So the more you know about the people, the easier it is to make a real impact contact. And, you know, you can end each phone call, please don't keep me a secret. Let everybody know that I'm here to help you and your friends and your family. It's a real easy, soft touch. And even when you're calling and touching a lead, sometimes it'll be a family member that's calling because they know somebody's going to move there. See if they'll get you the information of the person that's wanting to move into the areas so you can provide them the best information and give them a local lender that knows our market. Because each market's different. Each state has different risks for lenders. Oregon's actually one of the higher risk states, as is California and Washington. So take the time to do that.
What do you mean by risk?
By risk,
Mhm.
interest rates are going to be a little higher because the price of the homes is high. So if they have low down payment, they're going to have a higher interest rate, typically,
Okay.
not always. If it's a manufactured home, in a park, it's going to have a higher interest rate than a manufactured home on land or a stick-built house on land.
Okay.
Some questions, ask them why are you thinking about buying? Why are you thinking about selling? Because you need to know which they are when you're putting them in there. If you got them from an open house, they're probably buying. And, you know, ask them, you know, when they answer a question, if they answer it very shortly, can you say, can you tell me some more so I can be helpful for you? What will that do for you or your family?
I have a question. How have you found success in connecting with vendors and affiliates for referrals? Because
Well,
this is
92% of
currently
my
the amount of like vendors and affiliates that have reached out to me, and I think it's close to 200 cards of business cards from different businesses here in town.
Well, one with businesses, I want a one-on-one meeting, and I want to know, like I met with a contractor the other day and he couldn't look me in the eye. And for me, that was like a real turnoff, okay? If I'm going to refer somebody, they've got to be able to look me in the eye and tell me that how they run their business.
Yeah.
Because I'm referring them, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I met with an attorney the other day. I do a lot of seniors moving. Part of it's that I'm in that age group where my mom's in assisted living, so all my friends are in that same age group. So I've been to almost every senior living community in our area, and I have scheduled lunches with a lot of these people so that I can get a feel for more about what their community is going to do. And I've toured them all. In addition to that, with attorneys, estate planning attorneys, 2/3 of the people in our area don't even have a will. And when that becomes important is when they die, because the statutes for the state will determine what happens with their money and where their stuff's going. And it's really important if they want it to go to a specific person, it's got to be in a will.
Yeah.
And if they have a lot of property, it should be in a trust, and it'll keep it out of probate court as much as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just had a contact that told me it took her 2 years to get any money at all.
Well, my brother didn't have a will and he passed away this year, and he was trying to help make sure he had everything set up. So they had done their burial planning, but he didn't have a will in place. And I'm really glad that he finally married the gal he was living with, or she would have got nothing.
Yeah. It took my grandma, I want to say 2 years to fight the state to get her property back when my grandpa passed away because he didn't write a will by the time Alzheimer's got to him. So they're super important.
It's super important. And so meeting an attorney, the best way to meet an attorney is bring them some lunch, because some of them will go out to lunch, most of them, and estate planning attorneys are great to have in your pocket, because I can't tell you how many times I've needed them. I had a gentleman die in the middle of a transaction, and you can file an affidavit that somebody can be assigned to help sell the house, so you can finish the transaction. Now the buyer backed out, but besides that, we had somebody now assigned, and we could move forward with selling the house. So there's people you're going to need in your back pocket: financial planners, estate planning attorneys, CPAs, if you're doing any 1031 exchanges. CPAs, this is a good time of year to meet with CPAs, because they're too busy during tax time and they don't want to meet with you. So it's important to think about that too. You're going to need some contractors. I usually test them on myself to make sure I'm okay with referring them. But ask the clients, what's important about this move to you, because there's usually something deeper, and we try to go really deep in that conversation with our clients. We like to go 7 levels deep. So any ahas off that section?
I have a client who his mom passed, and he was trying to move to Kansas, but now he's not certain on what he's going to do because he's waiting for some stuff. But so I talked to him the other day, but I wasn't sure what to say, because I'm like, I'm sorry that your mom passed, but then I don't want to say, yeah, but I really like to get together to see if we still want to sell your house. I mean, it was a kind of an awkward,
Well,
you know.
but he's still gonna need to know what the value of the house is for, if they didn't have a trust. If you look up the house, you would know if it's in a trust or not, because it should say limited trust or real estate trust or RLT after it. They're going to need the value of the house just to settle the estate. So reach out again and say, hey, I just learned in this class that I was in today that you might need to know the value of your house for your estate. How can I be of service?
Okay, that's good.
So yeah, you can be sorry, but at the same time, there's something they're going to need, and it would be helpful for them.
Yeah, it was really nice because he called me back, and I was surprised.
Well, call him again and say, hey, I just went to this class. Another reason to call, right? I just went to this class and I learned this, that real estate gets a step up in value for the heirs. So there's no capital gains tax on the heirs. If he was on title prior, he will have capital gains when the house sells from when the parents owned it.
Okay.
So he'll need to figure out the basis in that case, and that would be what the parents paid for the property plus all the improvements that they've put in over the years. But you'll probably need an accountant to help you with that, because you probably don't know enough yet.
No. So you said bases and improvements.
Yeah, what they paid for the house plus the improvements, and you have to have receipts for the improvements. So the total basis of the house equals what you paid for the house plus all the repairs you've done.
Okay. Sweet, thank you.
But it's also important to know what the house looks like before you do the market analysis, because it might be very dated. A lot of older folks don't put the money back in.
True.
So we're going to the post lead follow-up. Sorry, I keep hitting the button too fast. When two-way communication is established, the lead becomes a contact in your database. So move from 19 to connect to 36 to convert. So on the, see, 19 to connect, 1 to submit, 36 to convert. So your database, you're still going to have leads. You're always going to be wanting to put new leads in there, and you want to make sure that you are the realtor that they're going to call. And the only way to do that is to stay in front of them, because there's a lot of us, a whole lot of us. Everybody knows at least 3 to 5 realtors in their sphere. So if you want to be the realtor that's going to get called, you got to be providing value to them all the time. You want to be the first person they think about when they have a need, when mom dies, dad dies, and they need something from a realtor. So how do you feel? How has your thinking changed? What ideas or mindsets are new that we just talked about?
I think that they need support and help at the moment instead of somebody who maybe can't lead or guide them at the time because they need information.
Right. And you have, if you're that person, then you can provide the resources so that next time when they need something, you can help them.
Right. Sometimes they can't do it themselves because they're too emotional, too involved.
So when I get a seller that's super attached to their home, the first thing I tell them is to start thinking of their home as a house, because it's not going to be their home anymore. We moved a lot when I was a kid. My mom's lived in 29 houses. We've counted them up. So we moved a lot. I went
Your poor
to,
mom.
well, she likes to move. It's her. She's a lot of it. Until my stepdad said, "We're not moving anymore. This is our last move." But one of the things about all of that transition, my brother didn't handle that well. So we had one picture frame in the house that we hung. We would look around the new house, and that was where are we going to put this picture? Because now it's home. And so when you're helping your clients transition from home to house, when you're selling it, it's a house. Your language will always be a house. When you're helping them find a home, it's a home. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Because they have 2 different meanings to the unconscious mind. So always be very conscious of that, and make sure I had a client that they bought a house 3 years ago. 3 years ago, the market was, everybody was bidding up to 50 to 100,000 over the asking price back then. Well, the market's very different today than it was then. We have 6 months worth of inventory in their price point. We have interest rates at 7%, not 3. And so we spent most of my listing appointment talking about what the current market is because I didn't want them to be surprised.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the language that you have to use. You want to be the expert. You want to tell them we're not going to overprice this house, especially in this market. In that market, you could overprice it. The market would catch it in a week or two. But you know, we aren't seeing that. We're seeing 1% over last year. We're not seeing a lot of increase from a year ago in pricing. So you don't want to overpromise something you can't deliver. And you want to make your clients feel that. How will your behaviors be different when you're going forward? What actions will you take? You know, the guy with all the business cards, reach out to some of those guys and schedule some lunches.
Yeah, those are opportunities.
Well, they are. You know, before someone puts their house on the market, a lot of times they'll do some remodeling. So it's important to know the contractors for that. Make sure you fill out as much information as you can about the clients and get to know them so that you can send them all the things. Because if you only have email or telephone, you're limited to text and email, right? You can't send them anything in the mail that might help make them get over to the next step and come on to your side. So try and get all the pieces. I mean, I want birth dates. I want everything in the system because we're going to send birthday cards.
Have you seen success from the physical mailing, promotional mailers?
You get success on the physical mailers with your database that you've done business with. But if you're trying to get a new market area, like you want a particular subdivision, you want your signs to be the ones that take over, it takes time. So you got to do it consistently for over a year.
One crazy tip that I got from the agents here at Eugene and Springfield was when you start seeing your funds come in from the transactions, save them up, and the first thing you should do is focus on open houses, because the most important part about open houses is the marketing. Buying your open house signs, your own open house signs with your name, with your logo, with the whole thing, and placing them all across that neighborhood. Any open house that you will go to, people will recognize that first and acknowledge that you are the agent of that area.
And do open houses for other agents in the area, other KW agents in our area. If you want that one particular area, do it in that area. Okay. I got stopped the other day. My husband had knee replacement surgery, and so we've been extra walking him around the neighborhood, trying to get his strength back up so he can go hunting. And we got grabbed by one couple that had just redone their whole backyard. It's now pavers, the whole thing, except for one small strip for the dog to go to the bathroom. But they were very proud of it. But they've been getting our mailers for our neighborhood for about 2 years. So even though I don't know them at all, they know who we are. And I used to only work out at the gym, so bad on me for not walking my neighborhood. I mean, when we first started in real estate, I had a dog and I'd walk my dog in the neighborhood, and I met more people walking my dog than anything I've ever done. We sold houses to probably 15, 20 people just walking my dog.
Oh, that's a good way to tell my husband I need a dog.
She was a yellow lab and very friendly. But So you need to do at minimum like 10 conversations a day. If you have no contacts in your database, go sit at Starbucks and drink some coffee and put a sign on the back of your computer that says, ask me how's the market. But when you ask that question, you have to be ready for the real answer is they want to know how's their market, where's their house. So you might want to have a snapshot of just that part of town that you're in with the coffee shop to be able to hand out. So if you're in, I don't know, Kaiser, for example, or one of the small towns around us, Staten or Sublimity, or one of those little towns at a coffee shop, make sure you have that market analysis, the market snapshot for that area, because they want to know where their market is. And if they're not from that area and they ask you that, ask them where they're from. So see, this gets back to 10 conversation, 10 contacts added, 10 handwritten notes, social media engagement. As with all training that we do at KW, we are not allowed to call unless somebody says we're allowed to call. So don't call a stranger, but if they give you their phone number, then you have permission to call. So do subscribe to the do not call registry and run your database through that periodically.
Do you guys have a class for that or a time where you show how to do that?
I don't know that.
Okay.
I just download it in an Excel spreadsheet across my numbers.
Oh, okay.
Engage every conversation in the spirit of contribution, and people are happy to be in relationship with us. I wear my, I lost my name badge. I haven't found it since I got back from vacation. It's probably in my briefcase. But I wear my name badge into Office Depot or Staples, and people ask me where things are, which I find interesting. I had somebody do it at Fred Meyer's the other day. I'm going, I don't know. I don't go shopping here. My husband does. So, role play. Prepare your conversation list. Let's see what it says here for role play. Do you guys want me to split you into pairs? Can you all talk? I can't see y'all anymore.
I could talk.
Stop share.
You'd be the first to make us do role playing with all the speakers.
Actually, I'm in a couple accountability groups and we do it every single time. So
I think that's awesome.
it's important to actually do the role play. It's easier when you're in person because we can just pair you up and go around and help with the conversations. But so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of you. I'll put you in pairs of 2. 4.
What's the role play conversation goal that we're having?
So the role play is going to be, one of you is going to be the client that's being followed up with, and the other one's going to be the realtor. And you're going to talk to them about, you're just following up. You met them at an open house, or for you, I met you at a networking event and I want to know more about your business. So
Okay.
it's more important that you meet people that are going to refer you business. So I get most of my referrals from estate planning attorneys and financial planners. I get more from both of those than I do from most of the other different businesses. Contractors are just wanting to meet you to
get work.
to get work.
I'm aware.
Okay.
I'm aware. I'm 1,000% aware.
So, concentrate on the ones that actually might be able to feed you some business. It would be
Yeah.
my
So how have you found any success reaching out to the Oregon State Bar and contacting attorneys that way for referrals, client
I've
client
found
referrals?
more success posting it on my Facebook page and asking my friends who their favorite attorney is for this kind of attorney.
Okay,
Who knows an estate planning attorney? Boom.
got it.
Who knows a good financial planner? I don't want to review my scenario
Yeah.
and get the feedback from that. And then if somebody knows somebody and they want to give you a warm introduction, that's even
Mhm.
better. So the estate planning attorney I do business with was in a networking group with I was in a bad car wreck a long time ago, and he was in a networking group with that attorney. That's how I met him. And that was 20 years ago, 21 years ago. So, and I do from 3 to 12 transactions a year with him. So if you had 3 estate planning attorneys sending you business, you wouldn't need to do a whole bunch of cold calling anymore.
Yeah, I saw that one of the groups that we work with here in KW is Alan Stewart and one other attorney. But they just posted up a property for sale and it's like $3 million or something like that. Humongous 7,000 square foot property in Eugene. I think it's on West 34th. That would be cool.
Yep, that would be cool. So
20 years,
What-
we can get that.
Gotta hustle.
gotta hustle. You gotta build the relationships. That's what it's all about. So you guys ready to go out in a breakup room? I won't make it very long,
Yeah, let's
and I'll
do it.
call you back.
Okay.
Looks like one group has 3. Lori can't go. I will go in here. I want. How do I close all rooms? Options. Should I renew ABR? Yeah. I don't see value in it. All right, have fun. Y'all
We
have a
lost
good
each other,
time?
Emily.
Huh?
That was quick.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy just to use the Ford, right?
Yeah.
And it's not as scary. And the more you practice, the better it is.
Yeah. What were you doing before real estate?
I was an industrial engineer for a French fry company and a coffee company.
That's a really cool way to get contacts.
Yeah, but I don't live anywhere where they were.
That's
So you know
crazy.
where to refer people, huh? Or get referrals?
I get some referrals from some of them, yeah. I've lived all over the northern part of the state, so it's been pretty cool.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Kind of a silly question.
There's no silly question. Go ahead.
Do you find more success within a closer radius of focusing your business or branching out, or does it even make a difference?
Well, I have a bad back, so it does make a difference. I don't want to drive more than an hour. But we do, I mean, 90% of our business is in Marion and Polk counties.
Okay.
We've sold a few houses in the north part of Lynn. We've sold a few further south. I mean, my granddaughter used to live in Lebanon, so I didn't mind going over there because I got to see the great grandbaby all the time. But they're in Idaho now.
So I was thinking you were in Eugene. You're in Salem area.
I'm in Salem, yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I got stuck behind a big accident there last night and it took me 3.5 hours to go 80 miles. Oh,
That's not fun.
no, it wasn't because my daughter's car decided to heat up afterward or during it.
boy.
I'm pretty good at getting around. If I can get to the exit, I can get around almost anywhere, except when you have to get over bridges. Certain bridges are a long ways
Mhm.
away.
Yep.
But when I go out and see clients out of town, like in Staten or Sublimity or something, I'll take any random road back.
That's why I tell so many people, you gotta move to Eugene. We are one of the few towns in all of Oregon whose grid runs north to south. It breaks up the monotony of going east to west and having to jump on I-5 to get everywhere.
Yep.
Yeah,
But
I don't like it.
well, one of my back surgeons was there, but he retired.
Oh, we have a good family friend. He actually works for Slocum, I believe still. My aunt actually took care of his daughters growing up because she runs a daycare here in town. Well, preschool / daycare.
You know,
There's a good referral.
my oldest granddaughter has a really large daycare in Spokane. So,
Oh, there you go.
and
Those are
she
always
has
great
6 kids.
That's a smart of her to do that.
Yep. Actually, she likes that business. I don't think I could do it after being in her house with 5 screaming kids.
Exactly.
Not my job.
Yeah.
But all right, let's see what else we have to do. So the next thing you guys need to do is work on following up with some of your contacts. And don't set your goals so low that you don't 2 contacts a day is not going to grow your database very quickly. So
No.
it doesn't take that long to call 2 people and get a little bit of information from them. Make sure, go through your Facebook. I mean, how many Facebook friends do you have? How many people do you have in your phone?
Yeah.
A lot.
I was with a different agency and I had 284, and now that's why I'm trying to figure out where that my spear is in command, because I don't know if they all went in there or what. So I'm trying to figure out where I'm at with them.
Well, if they're in your phone, you have part of the data.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions you guys have of me? Let's go make some phone calls.
Yeah. I gotta fix my command too. Halfway through.
Well, my command, so command has everybody we've closed, plus everybody in my market leader website account. So
yeah. What are other tools you have found successful for creating compiling data for lead generation, say sellers? I know PropWire is a really good one that a lot of people use.
I use PropStream because it'll let me target seniors.
Got it.
It has that, and it can tell me if they're investors or just homeowner. So
Cool.
investor is somebody that has more than one property, right?
Yeah.
So Oregon's laws have changed significantly in the last 5 years on property management rules that are not in favor of the property owner. So it's a good target market to try and reach out and sell those properties. But before you do that, learn how to do a 1031 exchange.
I was gonna say, because I just was calling some blind people. I had just phone numbers and no names, and I ended up getting one that he's an investor, and he just told me he just started listing a bunch of properties and that he has, and he says, "Bring me a buyer. I need to raise $1 million." And so I'm trying to figure out where all his properties are and trying to figure that out, but I just not sure
Schedule a
how.
meeting with them and say, I'm here to help you get your $1 million.
Okay. Yeah, I could get more info that way.
Get more info and see what houses he has that he wants to sell. So do the market analysis on the properties that he just gave you.
Okay. He
Double
didn't give me
check.
any addresses. He just told me, oh, it's over here by the surveying office and it's over there, the other one. I mean, he just kind of gave me vague ideas.
Okay, call the title company and with his, I would call him again, see if you can get him to give you one property. Then you can see how he's taking title.
Okay.
If he's got them in a trust, some people put them in LLCs for each property, so that'll be harder to figure out.
Okay.
But, just ask him to give you one property and give you a chance.
When I looked up, he did give me one, and he wants to raise money to pay that one off. They are in trusts, but what I saw was that they weren't necessarily in his name.
Right. So if they're in the trust, most of them will probably be in one or two trusts. So have the title company do a search for that trust.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So call
And
the
give you all the properties in that trust.
Oh, okay. I didn't know how to go about it. Thank you.
Any other questions like that? Anything else I can answer for you guys?
Yeah, can I ask you one more question on that? He did mention that his son works in Idaho for Keller Williams. Is that like a back off, or what do you think?
If his son's not licensed in Oregon, he's not going to be able to help him here.
Okay. I wasn't sure how that worked. And then I guess he worked with somebody that owes him a lot of money, so he wanted to make sure I didn't work for that company. So, okay. Thank you.
The one thing I would ask him when you call him back is, maybe he wants his son to get a referral fee.
Okay.
So
Oh, okay.
offer his son a 25% referral fee.
Oh, okay. That's a good idea. Thank you.
Because you can only give a fee to somebody that's a realtor in Oregon.
Okay.
I have a quick question. Which CRM are you using?
I'm using my clients out of by referral only. I had a really cool one, but the technology caught up with them. It was called Market Systems, and it would sync just before the web-based ones. So it would sync between our computers, so anybody could jump into the contact, leave a note, and then the next person coming in could see it.
Okay.
And I really liked that because it synchronized amongst all the different computers we had. So if I had it on a computer at home and work, and it would stay in sync. Command does that. And I think you can sort it by last name now. You couldn't when I was teaching on that. But I still find Command's database management is a little cumbersome. Whereas mine, I can pop it on the screen here. You can see it. See, share screen.
Once the title company sends me that, what am I looking at? What am I looking for in that?
You're looking for the name, how he's got title.
Okay.
And then inside there, they should be able to tell you all the properties. And then you can drive by them and do a CMA on them.
Okay. Okay.
Share screen. So my database actually has everybody by last name, which is what I like. So if you're doing A and E, you can just pull them all up and just call through. We have their birthdays are in there. So hers Hers is September 11th. I don't know her husband. I've never met him actually. Just her. But I've helped their kids buy houses.
Okay.
Um,
I had one the other day that somebody went through the Human Being, and I've been talking to them for quite a while, and they bought the two local here in Roseburg. And they had already told me, no, we already have a realtor that we've been working with for years, so we're going to stay with them. But when a friend of mine went through there and they told him, started talking, and they told him that I was their realtor, and I'm like, oh, wait, I didn't know I was, but that's cool.
well, they're just not committing right now. You're not their realtor unless they sign the paper.
Right? That's true.
So just know they're doing that, and stay in touch with them when they're really ready. Maybe they'll give you a call.
There we go.
But we try to gather all the pieces of information. So like I'll cancel. I go into new.
And even though you use this program, you still have to use Command for all of your documents, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so this is just for your contacts.
Correct.
Okay.
But these are the ones that I market to. And the reason why I use this is because when I set up the flags, so, most of the people I do business with are in my sphere today, but I have a 5-star referral center. So that creates its own website that people can go to and look up my clients or my vendor contacts. I've got so many flags, it's not even funny, but we use them for different things. So the Getting Listings is a neighborhood that we're marketing to. And I actually do it quarterly to each one of those. My newsletter goes out automatically. If I click that box, I don't have to do anything. The referral reminder postcard gives a story on how they can refer someone to me. That goes out monthly. The Done For You Getting More Listings goes to a neighborhood if it's marked. But it's all the sources are in here. In recreating that, the flags just don't translate right? So I'm not going to do that because there's over 800 people in here. I don't need to do anything.
And the flags are basically how you can filter it.
Correct.
Gotcha.
So like the referral reminder postcard goes out once a month. Then there's a letter from the heart email that goes out once a month. And it gets posted on my Facebook page as well. And then, I mean, I don't have to do anything because by referral only does it, right? It just automatically goes to those flags. And I'm lazy. Not really lazy, but it's efficient for me. I don't have to do anything.
And you pay for that on your own?
I do. I've been a member of by referral only since 2004. So, it pays for itself. They keep me top of mind. What I liked about by referral only is when I started in business, we moved here and we didn't know a soul, went into real estate. So unlike Mr. Becker there, he's got a database of all his past clients, right? He can contact them. And if they liked his service, they'll probably like his service as a realtor as well. So I didn't know anybody here. So we started from scratch, walking my dog and open houses.
I love it.
Of course, that was 20 years ago. Now I know a lot of people.
You can't, maybe you're not supposed to answer this question, but for all of us newbies, would you recommend just sticking with Command, or do you think some of these are more straightforward for contacts?
Command, you can do a lot out of Command. You can order postcards. You just would have to key, if you belong to something like by referral only and they created the postcards for you, you'd have to put it into Command. But it's also integrated with Canva here in the near future. So you can, my assistant does a lot of stuff in Canva. So you can create postcards, you can create almost anything out of it, but you can do it directly from Command. The postcards that I like the best are from, what's the name of that? I do the ones from Express Copy are the ones that my referral reminder postcards all go to, but there's another vendor where it has a map of their house and a like a push pin of it into their house and all the houses that are sold around them in the last year. That postcard gets a higher response rate than any other postcard I've ever done.
That's cool. So it shows them which houses have sold or what they've sold for the most.
It gives them the prices that they sold for.
Oh, okay.
So people like to know what values in their neighborhood are. And so it just draws around their neighborhood, shows their house with a red push point in it, and says, call in here to find out what the value of your home is. And they hit that website better than any other postcard I've ever sent.
Wow.
What's your referral reminder card? What does that have on it?
Most of those have, let's go back to the most of them are a story.
So you create it in here and then they send it out.
I don't do anything. They send it out. All we do is make sure this is set up right and everything goes from there.
Gotcha.
So right now it's graduation season. When graduation leads to right sizing, this is going out in July. The cap and gowns are packed away. The celebration banners are down. Summer has settled for many parents. This season brings a shift, both in routine and perspective. So this is reaching out to people that have just had somebody graduate, right? And as your friends in real estate, we've helped many families thoughtfully navigate this transition. So that's what it's all about. Telling a story about a way you can help them. And then it'll have something else on the back. Has all the legal stuff we need.
Okay.
Make sure your home's ready for summer vacation. Set your thermostat to an energy saving mode. Hold mail and packages. Secure all doors and windows. Unplug electronics. Empty the fridge and take out the trash. Just some safety stuff.
And they create all that, or you plug that in?
They create it all.
Okay, so you just tell them I want a summer-based postcard, and then they put it all together.
Well, you can sign up to do it monthly or quarterly, and I do it monthly. I used to do them by hand. Before they had the done for you, I did them by hand.
Gotcha.
I used Express Copy and created the card and made it happen. But I don't have to do that today.
How often do you do like those Pups and Pinot events?
I do usually a summer event and the Easter event. And during COVID, we did a Santa event because nobody could take their kids to see Santa, and my gym was shut down, so I rented the gym and did the whole gym. So right after, so we'd go in and decorated the night before, right after he was done with all the classes, and then we went in at noon, and we started seeing kids at like 2. So we then re-cleaned up the gym and made it to where everybody could socially distance still see Santa Claus.
How many people end up showing up to these events usually?
Well, the Easter egg hunt, we have about 100 families and about 200 kids, maybe 300 kids. The most we've had is 600 kids. The picnic we've had we did one during COVID at a donkey farm right after COVID, but we still couldn't rent the park. So a friend of mine has a miniature donkey farm, and they're going to be set up for doing that for other people. But at the time, they weren't super set up, so I had to bring in portable toilets and everything else. But the kids got to pet the miniature donkeys and some other farm animals they have. It was pretty cool. We had about 150 people to that one. Families, 150
Get a lot of
families.
leads from those, I'm sure.
I get a lot of conversations after that for people that are thinking of buying or selling.
Okay.
But it's also fun to do. I mean, we had live music, we had really good food, we had just everybody came and had a good time. It's the Pups and Pinot will probably have about a 50 to 100, I think, show up. It's geared to be a smaller event. We're doing smaller events this year and more intimate.
And you partnered up with a local venue, or?
I partnered up. One of my friends at the title company just purchased the vineyard, and I knew she liked pets and would let us do it. So I asked her if we could do it. She's not charging me a fee. I just got to buy 4 cases of wine. Well, and realistically, you know, they'll go through probably a case and a half just for tastings.
Yeah.
So, just for my people. And then I'll bring a couple charcuterie trays. For the most part, it's pretty simple. Our picnic, the first year we did our picnic, we just brought our barbecue. One of my team members, her husband was a cook at one of the assisted living places, so he did coleslaw, baked beans, and potato salad, and then we fried hamburgers and hot dogs on the grill.
Sweet. Sounds like fun.
So it was pretty simple. And the weather was horrible that day. It was beautiful in the morning, and when our picnic time came in, the wind was blowing sideways and it started raining, but we still had 40 families show up. So you just got to start. It doesn't have to be real big. Somebody asked me why I do a picnic. I like picnics. When I was a kid, it was a big deal to go to a picnic. So we do picnics. But now we're going to move, we're going to do small intimate groups of like 10 or 15 in our backyard. So we're set up this year. We're going to do my old Seroptimus group that's not together anymore. We're going to get together with that group and their spouses, and then a bunch of people that have referred this business in the past, that whole group that they referred, and everybody down their chain that referred. So that'll be probably 30 people.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah. So, you know, you get somebody that's referred you a bunch of business, show them how much business they sent you, you know, make them feel happy. But also let them see all the people that they referred and the chain that it makes. It's pretty big. So that's what we're doing. And it's fun. And it's simple and it's small enough we can do it in our backyard without any trouble.
Thank you.
But I've done a picnic up to 150 families. Because I do that with just myself. I do the Easter egg hunt with one of my lender friends. So we have more people to help set it up. Filling all those Easter eggs takes a week. There's over 6,000 of them.
Oh my goodness. Wow. That's pretty cool. So if you could get to know the people at the country club, you could do something with them, huh?
You do it at a country club, it's going to cost you a lot of money.
Okay. Think big here.
Well, you can think big, but most of my events aren't super expensive. So like the picnic with a small band and 150 people, food's going to be about $300. The band's 400. And then you got to rent the park. So some of them are free. If you can do it in the county parks, they're free, but you got to go sit there all day because they won't hold the space for you. But it's a good reason to call, right? I get to
Yeah.
call and talk to my friends.
There you go.
Everybody's my friend. Any other questions?
Nope, I don't think so.
The events we're going to do this summer, for the most part, are going to cost me less than $200 each event because I can do it at my house. And I will get business from it.
That's incredible. That's good.
So don't spend a lot of money that you don't have, is what I'm saying, is start small and let it grow.
So what if I have a client and I can't find her a house? So what do you do in that case? I mean, I keep telling her we'll find it, but I don't know, it's been a while.
I've gotten a list of houses from the title company that meet most of that criteria, and I've sent them a letter saying I have a client that's possibly interested in your house. And you get phone calls from them.
Oh. Okay.
I think in the KWU, it's called the Golden Letter. But it's just a simple letter. It doesn't say much, but you do have to have the legal stuff about you. So you're a realtor, you're licensed in the state of Oregon. Put a disclaimer on the letter. If this property is listed, this is not a solicitation of that listing. Have the realtor logo, have the KW logo on there. Do all the stuff that makes it legal when you send it out. But the letter doesn't say much. I had a client that had it was a kind of like the Brady Bunch, only not quite so big. They had yours, mine, and ours, and so they needed at least a 4-bedroom house to have the kids all in their own rooms. And so I was looking specifically for at least a 4-bedroom, 2-bath house and larger. I don't just wait for it. If you're working for them, you don't have to just wait for it to show up.
So you could actually post that on Facebook, looking for a house for these criterias?
I wouldn't put it on Facebook.
Okay.
You're gonna get a lot of spam.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
A lot of people trying to reach out to you to fish information, not only from you, but your clients, and you could get in trouble.
Okay.
I would send the letter.
So in that letter, you said the KW is, and you would have your that you're a realtor and your license number, and what else was it?
You're licensed in the state of Oregon. On our office, this office is independently owned and operated. And then I would also have a disclaimer that if this property is listed, this is not a solicitation of that listing.
Oh, okay. That covers you.
It covers you. And then you have to have the realtor logo, the fair housing logo, and a KW logo, and your return address. Pass it by your PB before you send it out. Make sure you
Yes.
got everything that you need, okay?
Okay, thank you.
And we hand wrote those envelopes. Handwriting them gets a higher open rate.
Even if your handwriting looks like a 5-year-old's.
Well, work on your handwriting.
Oh, I see all these older generation, they had beautiful handwriting and I'm like, what the heck? They don't do that anymore.
Well, all you gotta do is practice. Mine looks like I'm an engineer.
Well, it's better than a doctor's.
Yeah, if you look at my signature, it looks more like the doctor's. Because I used to sign a stack of invoices about this high every day. So my signature is pretty messy. All right, you guys, if you don't have any more questions, we're done.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.